There's this sitcom that my wife and I used to watch. And like a lot of sitcoms, it's about, some people looking for love. But there's this one guy, he was always doing these like gigantic, massive, romantic gestures. And then inevitably, he'd break up with that girl and he'd fall in love with someone else. And then he would do this big, gigantic, romantic gestures. And it was like he went from one of those gigantic gestures to another. I begin to think that's not really what life or love is about. Life isn't about the gigantic gestures, the massive things that happen. Love is not about going from one gigantic gesture to another, but really it's about doing the little things consistently. It's about doing the little things right. If you're a Jesus follower, Paul writes in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. If we're Jesus followers, he says, be strong, be steady. Always work enthusiastically for the Lord. For anything you do for the Lord is never useless. What he's saying, anything we do for the Lord, all those little things, if we're doing it for the Lord, it's never useless. To become the husband and the father that I want to be, it's not about the gigantic gestures, the gigantic moments. It's about doing the little things, being consistent day in and day out, being the wife, the mother that you desire to be, being the man or woman of integrity that you desire to be the person that's respected in the workplace that you desire to be. It's not about the massive moments, the big gestures. It's about being steady and being consistent. If you're not a Jesus follower, you can still apply the same principle. But my wife and I, we pastor a church called Vine Church. And at Vine Church, I want you to know, if you don't follow Jesus, it is still a safe place for you. Vine Church is a safe place for you to check out the claims of Jesus, figure out who he was. It's a safe place for you to join a family, even if you don't believe the way that we do yet. But if you are a Jesus follower, Paul writes, be strong and be steady. That word steady is about doing those little things right. And it takes great strength to be steady. It takes great strength to be consistent day in and day out doing those little things. And we know when we do those little things, when we're doing them for the Lord, they are never useless. They're always meaningful. God is always watching and he's pleased when we do those little things right. So my encouragement to you is find a little thing this week to do. What's one little thing that you can do this week to kind of move the ball forward, becoming the person that you desire to be, the person that God desires for you to be? And one of the things that we say at Vine Church all the time is, what's your next right step? What is the next step for you to take? What is the next right step that Jesus is asking you to take to become that person that you desire to be, that God desires you to be? Be strong. Be steady. Work enthusiastically for the Lord. All right, we'll see you next time.